Hello YouTube friends, welcome to The Last Homely House. I'm Kate and I live here in this little cottage in the north of England, and the videos that I make for you, I really enjoy experimenting with things, trying new ideas, revisiting old ideas. I make a lot of quilts, but I also make a lot of other things. And for a while I used to make books all the time, and I've got back to making books in this video. I'm really excited to share this one with you. I made these little books with my daughter-in-law Anna, who helps me here, helps me with the filming and the editing. And I'm really pleased with how they turned out. So watch this video that's coming now, where I explain why I'm making them and how I'm making them. So today I'm getting back to something I love to do. We're going to make some books. And you've made books with me before.
I have not for the longest time.
Not for the longest time. And I haven't made books for a long time either. So I'm having to kind of revisit some of those old skills and ideas.
Yeah.
We're making some little books this year, and we announced this in the Patreon Welcome to 2026 video, that we are going to be offering the log cabin tier a physical gift. 4 times a year, and this is the first one. And for this one, if you're signed up to the log cabin tier,
they would have already got it probably.
Well, this lot's got it already, but then for next one, which will be for the next quarter of the year, then those people will get the thing that we're going to make, or so it's not always going to be a made thing. In fact, I'm quite excited about next quarter's one.
Yes, me too.
Anyway, what we're going to do today then is make that thing that I'm going to be sending out. They've already got them, haven't made them yet, and I'm going to teach Anna how to make them. And what we're doing is we're making, here's my little prototype, we're making a little book.
It's so sweet.
It's just a little book to jot your thoughts and ideas. Do you know what you might do with yours?
Garden notes.
Yes, so garden notes for Anna, quotes and stuff for me, whatever, birthdays. It's just a little handy notebook to have. And what I'm enjoying about this book is that we're using some of our indigo scraps. Now, so it's all threaded and tied together. Anna and I have been doing this indigo project for the whole of last year. Once a month we post something about indigo. Remember dyeing all that indigo a year ago? It was great fun.
Yeah, it was
great. Anna's made her quilt, I've made my quilt, and so what's left now is a big box full of scraps of indigo, and we're going to use them for the covers.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do now then is show Anna my thoughts about how I'm putting this together. Bookmaking can be very intricate and complicated and really kind of involve a lot of equipment and skills. That's not how I make books. I'm very much a craft book maker. It's like I do everything. Yeah. I like to do things, so I'll enjoy doing it, but also the result is actually pretty handcrafted.
Yeah, but that's what you want, isn't it?
I love that. I love that about these books.
Gives them like a certain energy, doesn't it?
Exactly that. So I've gathered together all the things we need. The book covers are this board.
How thick is that? Oh, that feels nice.
It's a nice board, isn't it? Just about right. Then I've chosen some very lovely paper, which is 120 grams. Which gives it a little bit, it's not copy paper, it's a little bit more weight to it, a little bit creamy. And then we're going to use some of my Aurifil thread for the binding.
Great. Are you going to teach me, excuse me, some good book terms?
Oh, go on, all right then. Let's have some book terms.
I'd like them, yeah.
So these are the covers then, that's not hard, is it? We're going to make the covers first.
And the bits inside, that's got a good name.
Yes, it has. And so, here it is. So once we get into this part here, so we're going to have a go at making the covers right now. And just have set those to dry under a big heavy weight, but then we'll get on with doing the pages, and the pages are called signatures.
I like that.
So each bundle of papers, and this book's got 4 bundles of 5 pages, so it's a useful size. So each one of those is called a signature, and I'll explain why when we get to that point.
Okay.
I've got a cold. You can hear that. I think I'm being very generous with my cold and sharing it with Anna. She'll be getting it really soon. For now though, we are going to get the indigo out. I'm going to cut a lot of these boards, as many as we need.
Cool.
And I'm going to show you how we're going to cover these with fabric. That's our first task.
All right.
I've got some PVA glue. I've got some newspaper.
Yep.
What else have I got? Some board, some fabric.
Perfect.
So let's go and do that. I'll tell you what you could do while I'm cutting the board.
Yes.
You could cut, I think what's nice about this is that I've chosen the fabric from the same piece.
Yeah.
So rather than just cut, 10 of these, I think it would be really nice if you cut 10 pairs.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, so I'm going to get Anna cutting fabric, I'm going to get me cutting boards, and the production line has begun.
Excellent.
Good, excellent. All right, yeah, so there's your fabric box there. Well, it's the end of a long day of cutting, sticking and sticking again.
My hands are very gluey.
Yes, I've just washed all the glue off mine, which
Very satisfying.
yeah,
You not want to peel it off.
it feels off. PVA is nice for that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
All the tasks we've done now, though, have meant that we've got the paper is now cut to the right size and folded, and each one of these little books is going to have 4 bundles of pages in. The covers are all made and sitting underneath this big pile of books. So I like reading those books, but actually they're really heavy, and so they're really good for this job.
Yeah, perfect, and they look nice and colourful as well.
They do, this is true. Okay, so we've got to put all of these things together now.
Yeah.
The next thing then is the binding these books into a block. I've got some blue thread that I'm going to use because everything about this project is blue, and I've got all this lovely blue thread. I don't know why I've got quite so much blue embroidery thread. I can't.
Handy.
It's handy for this job. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show Anna how to do then is make a guide for punching the holes in this in these folded pages.
Cool.
So we're going to open the pages up like this. Now I've got this little book here. This is an old kids book that was in the charity shop pile, and the way that works is we're going to hold it like that so that the pages stay nicely in position.
Yes.
Now we're going to work out then how to...
I'll grab this camera and I can show these guys.
Okay. We're going to work out now how to mark the holes that we need, the guide that we need. So come in a bit and I'll show you. So I've cut this, that's one of my set there, and I've cut this piece of graph paper here to exactly the size of the spine of the book, and just a couple of inches wide. And then, so the first thing you need to do is write top on that, and you'll see why in a minute. You can measure this, of course you can, with a ruler, but I tend to eyeball it. So I fold it in half like that. And my first hole is going to be there, the very centre. My next hole then, if I fold that up to the halfway point, my next hole is going to be there. And then, because of the way that I'm doing this, my next hole is going to be there. So we're going to do that again. Fold that to the centre and give it across there, and then fold that here. Now, if this is driving people crazy, of course measure it with a proper ruler if you want to, but for me now that is a good enough guide. And the reason why I mark which is the top is so that if these are out by a slight tiny little hair, it won't matter, because they're always going to be in the same place. Now, I'm going to explain now what Anna was asking about earlier about signatures and why these are called signatures. And this is plain paper. But if you were printing a book that had writing and illustrations and whatever, if you printed all your pages and had them ready there now, you need to bind these in order. So you have to make sure that this is the same way up. You don't want one upside down. You want them all, and you don't want section 2 to be followed by section 5. You want them all to be in the right order. And so the way that old bookbinders used to do that, they would write, so let's say we've got our 4 signatures here, and they would write 1, 2, 3, 4 in the bottom corner, which I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that now, when I pick this up and make the holes in here, I know which one it is, because it says so right there. And those little marks in the corner of the page aren't going to bother anybody. I mean, I'm not going to do that on my books because they're plain paper, so it's not going to matter. But you can see, can't you, how important that would be if your book had content. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is you need an old telephone directories used to be the best thing, but this book will do fine. So if I was to put this on the table and try to make the holes, I would not necessarily get the holes nestled in the fold. So actually a bigger book would be good, but this is the one I've got, so this is the one I'll use. And so now I'm going to use this little tool here, which is called an awl. And top, see, obeying my own rules here. An awl is just a sharp, pokey thing. You can use a big needle if you haven't got an awl. And I have got another awl, but it's much, much thicker hole it makes, and I don't like that one very much. So now I'm going to make sure that when I put my needle in, I'm at absolute right angles. I'm right over the... Anna's having a real struggle. Anna's having a struggle trying to film this. But I'm going to make sure that my awl is over the cross exactly. And it's at right angle. It's not all over the place like this. It's right up against the book at right angles. And then you don't need to push very hard. You just need to... You can almost hear it more than you can, you know. I'm not trying to get through to the table. I'm just trying to make a few holes in this book, so that my holes now, they're perfect. They're just big enough for a sewing needle to get through. I use these kinds of needles. This pot here is where I keep my bookbinding needles, and I'll use something like that. Something that the thread will go through. So now then, I've got signature number 1, and I lay that down there. And then I get number 2, making sure that my guide is at the top, like so. Just spend a bit of time getting that exactly right. And then again, with your awl upright, go through these holes. Just a little tiny push, not a huge push, like so. And then I've got the next one ready. Signature number 3. Always check that they haven't come out of, there's 5 pages in there. So check they haven't come they're all nicely lined up. They shouldn't have done. They've been under a big stack of books all day, and so they're nicely folded now. Get the guide to the top and put your holes through. Last signature. Checking again. I love this job. I really do enjoy it. I said to Anna a little bit ago, I'm in my happy place. I love a production line. I love paper and making books. I love making books. That's my last signature then, all done. And the thing about that is, if they're ever so slightly out, they're not actually, you can see that they're beautifully in line because of the cautions that we've taken, but if they're slightly out, this is a handmade book. This is not something that you're getting made from a factory or by a machine. This is me and Anna making these. And I love the homemadeness of them. Those then, I'm going to punch the other few here now, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to sew these together. And the stitch I'm using is a coptic bound stitch. So I'm coptic binding these. So do you feel equal to making a few holes?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did this once. Remember when you were helping me make diaries for my violin students?
I remember when Anna used to teach violin students. You don't do any teaching anymore,
I don't.
do you? And we had your homework diaries or practice diaries, or what were
Yeah,
they?
practice diaries, yeah.
Practice diaries.
Yeah.
And I remember making a whole heap.
I've still got a box of all the stuff upstairs somewhere.
We used a pamphlet stitch for that.
Yes,
pamphlet
but we
stitch.
did this.
So you remember, we had a better book. This book's not brilliant.
We used a telephone directory.
It was a telephone directory. Where are our telephone directories? I would love. I should have held on to one for this purpose.
Yeah.
But
I can bring that one back.
Oh, if you've got it.
Yeah.
I'll have finished this by now. If you've got it though,
in the room of doom. So after the renovation,
okay.
I'll find you it.
That's the first one done then, and so what I need to do is find a second book and a second awl, and then I think, because this day's gone on quite a long time, I do sometimes let Anna go home, just sometimes. But then I'm going to probably start binding these, and I'll show you how to do that later.
Yeah, maybe we show them, we film the rest on Friday.
Maybe we do, because it's, we're running out of energy, time, but not enthusiasm for this project. Okay, right, we're going to do holes then.
Cool.
But now we need to keep them in their piles,
okay,
like this. So how am I going to make sure that happens? I don't know. Well, it's a few days later now, and we're back to this project.
Yeah, it's been a good thing to be working on this
Oh,
week,
I'm
hasn't
loving
it?
it. I really love a production line.
Me too.
And so we've got
Very
all
satisfying.
the book pages all lined up. We've got the covers that
They're looking
you
so good.
covered so beautifully, put together with each of the book blocks. And so the last task to do now is to bind these pages together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a coptic bound stitch to do this. There's all sorts of different ways of binding books, but this coptic binding, let me have a look at one that's finished. Is there a finished one somewhere? Yeah.
I'll bring these guys in close so they can see.
All right. You get this exposed spine, but with these little decorative stitches here, and that's why I placed them like I did, because I thought they looked quite nice, spaced 2, 2 and 1. And then the covers are stuck to the first page of the book block and the last page of the book block, which makes the end papers. And so that looks, I think that looks really simple and effective, and then the whole book is held in place with that little bit of spine there. So the last 2 jobs that need to be done are finishing the binding of these book blocks and then sticking the covers on. So we've got this production line now, and I think we'll get a finish today.
Yeah, and I'm gluing.
And Anna's gluing. And Anna's what I've noticed with working with Anna over the years is she's very precise and careful. And that's what you need to be to not get glue everywhere.
Well, that's good, because I was just saying to Kate that that's something I want to be less.
Less precise and careful.
Because Kate was like, you need to be bold, and I was like, I think you could apply that to like most of my
your
life.
life not being bold.
Yeah, I just need to be more bold.
Oh, I don't know. I think you. Yeah, I don't know. This is a job though that is well suited to you.
Yes, good.
And because what we don't need is glue anywhere but where it's going.
Yes.
Be careful of getting PVA anywhere else. You do those then.
Cool.
I'll do this.
Shall I bring them in close to show them the stitch?
Before you agree to do that, I'd just like, this is the massive disclaimer here, I'm not offering this as a tutorial of the way to do this.
She's scared of the book police.
The book police. Well, you know, the quilt police are frequently try to visit me here.
Yes.
Never let them in.
Yeah.
I never let them in.
But do you think they share their data with the book police?
Yeah, they do. They've got me on their radar. The crochet police, the knitting police.
Oh dear.
All those people who like to...
The craft FBI.
Yeah. The craft FBI. What does FBI stand for? It stands for...
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
No, what does it stand for?
The craft.
Yeah.
The Craft Bureau of Investigation.
Or whatever we're trying to say here is that I do this and I'm happy with the results. And I think you could apply that to pretty much everything I do. I figure out a way to do something and I get lots of information from YouTubes and books and all sorts, and then I figure out the way that I like to do it. And it's not necessarily the right way.
But I think that's fine. I do the same thing. I don't like being told what to do.
No, I don't like being told what to do. Anna knows this.
So I think it's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm going to bring you in close and show you what Kate likes to do when she's making books.
All right.
And it works really well. Look how good they are.
Well, they are nice, aren't they? I'm pleased with the results of them. The first thing you need to do is wax the thread. I'm using 6 strands of embroidery thread here and some beeswax, and I'm just running the thread over the beeswax. So waxing the thread's really important because it makes it really nice and stiff. And when you're doing this bit, which I'm about to do now, I'm going to tie this off here and 2 knots, 1, 2, and the thing doesn't move because the wax just keeps it all beautifully in place. How cool is that? And then snip that end off. You always find little bits of ends of threads in my books. Okay, so the first 2 signatures then, the first 2 signatures are going to be stitched together quite simply. So I'm going to go down here. And it's almost like I'm doing a running stitch. Up we go, down into the next one. Anna made these holes really, really well. If you can't find your hole ever, just go inside with your needle and poke it through from the other side, and there it is. Because it's better to have smaller holes rather than massive ones, because then your threads don't all sort of slop around. And so I'm just going to go up, down, all the way along here, like this. And then when I get to the top, I'll introduce the next signature. So that one's just going to go down there. Let's just find it again. There it is. And what you didn't see me doing was cutting the thread, and how I calculate the length for that one is 5 times the size of the book block, the long side of the book block. Okay then, so now I get my next signature. This is when the coptic binding actually starts. And I'm going to get my next signature now. Just a minute, let's get holding them. You've got to get all thumbs and fingers. Fingers and thumbs. I'm going to go down here then. And up here, and then this is the coptic binding stitch. Okay. When your thread's up here opposite this signature here, I'm just going to wrap it. Oops, so I'm going to wrap that stitch around that one there and then go back down the same hole. Now, Coptic binding people, look away now, because this is definitely just the way that it works for me. Okay, and then we're going to go up here and round this stitch, round through the gap and back up the spine, and then down that signature there, and then up the middle one. I can't tell you how much I love doing this. I really enjoy it. And like I think I've just said about a production line, I like seeing them all laid out ahead of me here with all their threads and all the pages just so and all the covers ready, and then working through them one at a time and moving them from this pile to that pile. I just love it. There's something so satisfying about that. So I'll do this last one. I'm going to come up this hole here, and then I'm going to wrap this stitch. I go down through the gap in the spine, back up again, and then I'm going to get the last signature, the last bundle of pages, and we're going to stitch, hang on, let's get it, hold that one together and hold this one open, so it's like this now, and I can get into this one, and then down this hole, there's some very good proper bookbinders out there on YouTube that you could find if you wanted to do this and do it properly. There's loads of them. It's where I learned, by watching other people do this properly. And then down
it's
there.
very satisfying.
Oh, I love it. I just love it. And then we're nearly done, and then we'll be able to tie this one off in a sec. And there will be another book block ready for you to stick your covers on.
And when people were first making books, what stitches were they doing?
Well, it depends where you are in the world.
Mm.
So Japanese stab binding is obviously from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did think about Japanese stab binding these books.
Is that the one when it's like the crosses? What's that one?
Well, I can quickly show you what a Japanese stab bind book looks like, because I have these ones.
Oh yes.
So this is where you can put single pages together. This is just loads of scraps from making books that I've put together in these little bundles, shopping lists or whatever. And the stitches are round the spine. And the thing about that one is they don't actually open and lie flat. Whereas these do. If you look at one of the books I've made here, this book will open flat like that. So that if you wear let's say
what you want, isn't it, when you're
an artist or you're wanting a big spread, you could use the whole page and it's flat. Can't do that with a Japanese stab bound book. But there's so many different styles of book binding. I don't know where I was. Oh yeah, I'm at the end. I'm just going to tie this off now.
And is the modern day one that people use in publishing, is there a name for that kind of?
There's names for all of these, and so those stitched spines that you'll get in an ordinary book. There's so many different ways of binding a book. There's another book block just there, ready for you to do your sticking with. Yeah, this is one. So I often say, I've been down a big rabbit hole and discovered all that I can find out about weaving recently, or this particular style of quilting, Kwandi quilts. Kwandi means quilt. Kwandi. All those kind of things. And the tradition goes back to the necessity. Before there were books, people thought, well, I've got all these bits of paper. I want to have them all in a certain order. How can I do that? There's a lovely bit in The Lord of the Rings. Now, I've just been to my local cinema and watched all 3 Lord of the Rings films, the extended versions, for 13 hours. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It's quite a nerdy thing to do, but then that's my style. But there's a bit in that where Gandalf wants to find out all he can about the ring of power that's in Frodo's care at the moment. And he goes to this amazing place, which is the knowledge centre, and it's full of books and papers, and he's reading about the history of this, but they're just loose pages, and he's piling them up, and oh, what's this one? And so I think in another life, I'd have worked in film, and I'd have worked making props, set decorating, and I can imagine whoever was in charge of doing that set would have got all those beautiful parchment pages and got fantastic writing on them and got them all aged and got huge books and piles of things.
I'd love to do that job.
I'm thinking there might be a little clip of that playing over here as I'm talking to you about that, because it's beautiful to see something with such detail and such care, and that we're talking about the beginning of the written word, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that's what these are, the ancestors of, or the descendants of.
And there's that really good scene in Little Women as well at the end when her book's being made.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
Because I went to see it before you in the cinema, and afterwards I was like, Kate, you've got to watch it. For the end alone.
For the book binding alone, yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Another book block is made.
Cool, I'll start doing
Okay,
it.
so I'm going to sew the rest of them, and you're going to stick.
All right.
And so forgive me if that was a little bit inadequate as a tutorial. Because it wasn't a tutorial, was it? That's the finished one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just take the...
I don't think it's adequate at all. I think you did a good job.
Okay, well... I'm just going to carry on now and sew a load more of these.
Yeah.
And you're going to stick a load more of those. And we've got a lovely big pile of craft books that we're putting them underneath.
Yeah.
They look cool.
Feel some plinky plonky music coming on.
Oh, can you? And I'd just like to point out before the plinky plonky music starts, isn't Anna good at choosing plinky plonky music?
Ah, thank you.
Here's a bit coming up now. You're going to love it. Okay, so the books are all finished now.
Oh, very cool.
I took them out from underneath their big pile of books.
Yeah, they look great.
You like them?
I really like them, yeah.
Good.
Beautiful.
Good. Well, what I decided I would do would be to send one to Rita, one to Martha, let you choose one.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to keep one for me. And I think that those 4 very different people will use them in very different ways. And it'll be interesting for me to see, how people use the book. So which one would you like?
I think I'm going to go just with the dark indigo.
Okay, why is that?
Well, when I was making my quilt over on Patreon,
Yeah.
I was making a log cabin quilt. It was really, really fun. And the colour that I was drawn to the most was these really rich, dark indigos.
In fact, I remember now that you're saying that we actually had to dye some more indigo.
Yeah, because I like the dark so much.
We didn't have quite enough of the very dark ones.
Yeah.
Well, that's your book then, and where's that going to end up?
Well, the other reason for it as well is that it'll be, I think I'm going to use it for garden notes. So if it was too light, it would just get really dirty.
It's going to get muddy.
So,
I think that's all right though. Get a bit of mud and get a bit of creases into the pages there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay then, so these books then are all packed up now and they've all been sent and they're all off with their log cabin patrons right now. And I've loved thinking about making this quarterly gift.
Yeah, me
and
too.
now they're all done. And so the next quarter there'll be something else, something completely different.
Yes.
I know what it is, but I'm not going to talk about it
really
right
cool.
here just now. Yeah. And so that will be for the patrons who are signed to that tier next quarter. So thank you so much for watching. If you have a go at making books, then leave us a comment and tell me how you get on.
Yeah, or tag us on Instagram.
Yeah,
that would
actually,
be fun.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because we often put stuff on Instagram, don't we? Anna does. Anna's in charge of Instagram, and she does that. And we've got the quality controls just jumped onto the table, and she's going to come along and let us know what she thinks of these books. This way, there's a good girl. So if you've got a bit of cat hair in with your book, then you'll know where it came from. Instagram's another place where you can find us. Kate at the Last Homely House, we're over there as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see other people's books, wouldn't it? What they did.
So this has been quite a different kind of video from the usual ones I do. Very much a making video, but it's been lovely for me to get into making.
I've enjoyed it so much. I'm going to have another go, I think, making some myself.
Yeah, okay, good for you.
I really liked it.
But we'll be back next time. Now, I see a comment a lot on my YouTube videos saying, "Oh, Kate, you're posting again. Where have you been? I haven't seen a video of yours in months." And I see that quite often. And people who think that I've abandoned YouTube and I just post to Patreon now. It's not true. We make videos, Anna and I, every second week. There's a video on the YouTube channel at 7 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, or British summertime at the moment, depending on what time of year it is, 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening every fortnight, every second week. And so if you're not seeing them, and there's been some good ones lately, then put your notifications on. It costs nothing to subscribe, and that way you will be notified any time I put a new video up. Have you got your notifications on? He said, well, if I had an opposable thumb, I probably would. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let us know how you get on with your bookbinding. And we'll see you in 2 weeks' time here on YouTube. And then over on Instagram and Patreon as well for all those other bits of content. So thanks for watching. Thanks for helping me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
it's
really been fun, hasn't it? We'll see you soon. Okay. What do you think? Definitely got cat hair in these books, haven't we? I think we do. What do you think?